Hello, welcome to Ikate's Crossing. Okay, this is Christoph James' deck collection. And I sort of put them together, but I'm sure there's other oracle decks that I could use in conjunction with these tarot decks and other tarot decks that I can use with the oracle. But, so let's have a look at the decks to start with. Okay, the first one I've got is his Rain Coast Pocket Tarot. Now it does come in larger sizes, there's different colour borders, all that sort of thing there's quite a lot of differences to the different decks, but for me I've got the little pocket size with the white borders and absolutely love it. Okay, not in order, but let's have a quick look at the images here. There's quite a lot in these cards in regards to reading the traditional meanings. Of course, with tarot you can read the traditional meanings or use the images, and maybe the images will tell you a little bit more about what they mean. Let's sort of just go into here. So I'm just going in. I just have to pull these up because they're not all the same way. Oops, there's the extra card there. Won't worry about that. And put my glasses down so I can actually see and make sure that I'm actually doing the cards themselves. So you can see with the images, the characters, they sort of give that airy type of energy. To me, it's a very Halloween-y type deck, especially with the head. That reminds me of Vladimir, the things, or with any sort of tribe or anything like that, with the heads on the stakes, on the spears. So it does give me a very Halloween-y vibe deck imagery, so I love it. But I love reading with it all year round. It's not just for Halloween as such, but I do like these images. Now, only buy from Rain Coast Tarot website. Please only buy from Christoph. Comes in a little 2-piece box. All his decks are beautifully packaged. They do not have QR codes. They do not have guidebooks. So at this stage, so please only purchase from his website. You cannot buy them from anyone else. You cannot buy them on Etsy. You cannot buy them on Amazon. You can only buy them on the Rain Coast. They come from Canada, so please, the Canadian dollars. So do please make sure that you order directly from Christoph James in this case, please. Super important. It is not a mass market decks. They are indie decks, and they can only be purchased from Christoph website, Rain Coast. Okay, Rain Coast, RAINCOAST. You will see his artwork, his prints are on there as well as the decks. What a current, excellent Kickstarter with the Crowley and the Rain Coast visions. I got those through Kickstarter and they were absolutely brilliant. Shipping, absolutely excellent service. You'll get the decks quite quickly. You will, yeah, definitely just buy them from the website. I can recommend totally. Deal directly with Christoph if you want to purchase any of his decks. You will not find them anywhere else. Okay, so I want to make that really, really clear because they are an indie deck, not mass market, and they can only be purchased through his website. Not Etsy, not eBay, not nowhere else. Okay, so please make sure that you are buying directly from Christoph James from his website, Rain Coast Tarot, please. Thank you. I just had to make that very, very clear because it does worry me with people out there. Anyway, so I'm not going to worry about that. So he does do a couple of signed pieces in the box. I'll put them back in there. So I just want to make that really clear. I love his artwork, love the decks. I'm absolutely wrapped with them. Love the way they work together. And yeah, but you could definitely mix and match if you had another sort of tarot, another sort of oracle deck or tarot deck that you felt worked really well with it. Definitely. Okay, so let's have a look at the Crowley Tarot. To me, okay, we all know Aleister Crowley in regards to the occult. I think this is really well done. Now, this is Christoph James, so he's created his own sort of Crowley deck, has included Pixie or Pamela Coleman Smith inside with the Sun card, which I thought was quite cool. Now, he does have the, there is a, if you've already got this deck, there is a guidebook that you can read off his website. Okay, it does give you a little bit of information about the cards. So, yeah, let me have a look at these are not in order again because it's a deck that I shuffle quite a lot. A deck that I've sort of started to sort of explore. The colorways, I think, are absolutely brilliant. The way he's done this is fantastic. Again, I think, like with this card here. Now, this is the 10 of Cups. Gives me sort of quite a sort of creepy vibe. You know, the characters do have a bit of a creepy vibe. There's your Aleister Crowley cards. There's a few of them here. There's Einstein and there's a few other sort of characters. There is nudity on the cards, of course, as with any tarot deck, but here you got the Magician card here. I think they're absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Here's the Hierophant. Two of Coins. Again, you've got that skeletal. So it's definitely a very sort of, to me, it's got quite a sort of a Halloween-y type vibe to it. For sure. It's very different. There's your Haunted Houses. There's quite a few of those sort of cards. There's your Creepy Clown card. So, yeah, I think it gives a very sort of Halloween-y type imagery. Here you've got a Soldier in the Clouds here. A lot of women. So it's very Crowley. I think it's quite very Crowley inspired type of imagery in many ways. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Christoph did an excellent job creating this deck. It took a lot of work, a lot of hard work, a lot of commitment, a lot of thought went into the cards, into the imagery. I think it's brilliant. And like a traditional Three of Swords, but yet really different, really unique in its own way. Here you've got the Four of Coins as Medusa, which I think is quite cool. The Chariot, which is quite different. It does have a horse, a power horse, but it has got a haunted home. It's got sort of two doll-like figures or childlike figures that are different colours, dressed in different colours. And then you've got a little chariots at the bottom here. So quite an interesting card with a lot of concepts and stuff in it. Here's the Tower, which is quite interesting with that sort of Aleister Crowley at the top. You've got here you got a whale in the sky. I think it's quite mythical there. It's definitely a lot of thought going into the cards, which are quite neat. Really makes you sort of think, you know, what's the card? Something I do need to dive into maybe a little bit more, but I can, you know, read with the tarot, but it's definitely does make you on a deeper level. So yeah, you can go quite deep into these cards here. But yes, if you want to find out a little bit more about the decks, I do suggest you check out Christoph James' website, and the Eight of Swords with being trapped, being restrained, being blinded, not being able to see what's going on around you. unable to feel like you're unable to sort of escape. That's really cool. So I really need to, need to dive into these. I mean, I have read with it. I can read with it quite easily. That's not the thing. But I haven't really sort of dived into it as well as I should. That's what happens when you've got quite a large collection and you're trying to sort of go through and do a couple of decks over the month. It's sort of, you don't sort of have time to do every single deck in your collection, and you know you've got to dive into it. So it does take a moment to sort of, that's why I sort of really haven't been buying a lot of decks at the moment. I've sort of, for myself, I want to sort of dive back into what I've got and start sort of learning the cards a bit better. And so, yeah, I think you end up with quite a collection, and then you go, oh, I haven't really had a chance to re-look at those images again. I haven't really dived into it. I haven't really studied it in any way. Yes, I can read with it, not a problem. You know, if I'm just reading the tarot or I'm just reading what I initially get. But I haven't really got a real super close connection with that deck as much as I would like. Oh, I love the 6 of coins in here. It feels like you're giving so much away that you're feeling disharmony. You don't feel so harmonious in your life. Knight of Wands with that sort of ready and rearing to go. Not quite move, even though, you know, you've got that intensity. That's interesting. The Queen of Wands reminds me of tour. Reminds me of climbing the steps too. 7 of Swords is that tent. Something being taken from you, of course. 5 of Swords with conflict. Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, I really need to dive back into... I haven't really re-looked at these images again. You forget when you don't really sit for a minute and just take a moment to pull your deck out and have another look. This is a great chance for me just to sort of take a moment to have a look at the images. I haven't really done that for so long. So doing this series, we've got the Devil card with Aleister Crowley. Alexander. Crowley. So quite interesting when you dive into it. The Lovers, that's interesting. Looks a bit like the Red Light District. A bit of a brothels. Six of Wands looks like the like a Templar. No, it's a Templar. It's got a baby on the roof. That's interesting. It's just what he puts together in the deck. There's so much detail to actually sit and study. You know, you have a quick look, you know what the title of the card is, you sort of have an idea, you can see a basic image, but to actually sit and have a look at actually these cards is quite extravagant. You know, there's quite a lot involved in these cards. There's quite a lot of information, quite a lot in each image. So definitely this doesn't really give it justice. I think you really need to have a look at a deck yourself and really see the image. I think there's so much in it, in the imagery. There's so much little tiny detail. There's little things that are hidden in the images until you really have a deep dive. So yeah, interesting. Okay, so it's going to take a little while. This is going to be a bit of a slow process here, isn't it? Because we're already... Okay, so next one is the Raincoast Visions Tarot. So this is from his Kickstarter, again with the white borders. I seem to have picked up all the decks with the white borders here. So this gives me a very sort of, is the odd card that gives me a real sort of Halloween sort of feel to it. So, let's start with that. So like the Ten of Swords. Very much so. Three of Swords, definitely. See, even the Hermit gives you that sense of an old reflective energy that's very deep and dark in a way. So the imagery here, again, I think Christoph does an absolutely excellent job. I love the Death card with 13 written on, tattooed on her chest. It's very good. And yes, they've got keywords on it. You don't have to use the keywords. They're quite good if you're in a big reading and you sort of get a bit blank with something, or you know, maybe a word stands out in a moment. I love keywords on cards. That doesn't bother me whatsoever. Sometimes they can be quite important. Gives me a bit of fantasy vibe with this deck as well in many ways. I love it. Cultural energy as well, even with the King of Swords. It's a very cultural, diverse deck. I think it gives you quite a lot of different ages, different races. I think it's absolutely brilliant the way. It's been a lot of thought again with his artwork. He really works hard at what he puts together. I think there's a lot of thought into each image. I think it's really well done. But yeah, I think it's got a real sort of, again, you got that Halloween type of feel to it. I don't know why. For me, it just feels, I think Christoph does an excellent job with creating his decks. There's only one deck that I don't feel has a Halloween feel to it. It feels more spring, and that's the Raincoast Dreams. And that's a deck that I will use for myself. I'm not sure which of his tarot decks. I mean, I have used it with this, but I also think it's got a very spring feel to it. So that'll be interesting. But anyway, these are very, to me, very Halloween-y type of energy. Now, I was trying to think of what oracle deck. I was thinking maybe with sort of a Victorian image to it. He has a very Victorian type of energy to his decks. So even maybe the steampunk Leninmand. I haven't found a steampunk oracle that I've really liked. Sort of got an Art Nouveau type of energy. Maybe an Art Nouveau type of oracle deck. Leninmand, there's an Art Nouveau Leninmand maybe. Could work, you know, I could get at some stage. I haven't got those yet, but I haven't got anything that's sort of, I don't know if there's sort of an Art Nouveau sort of, there's that Nouveau steampunk. I don't know what that would be like with it. Victorian, I don't know if there's a Victorian deck that might work with it, or an Art Nouveau type deck, yeah. So there's some thoughts to go into in regards, if anyone's got any ideas or suggestions about oracle decks. I know there's a circus deck coming at that Christoph is doing, a circus deck, which I think would go quite well with this as well, which I'm looking forward to seeing with his creations there. So as you can see, with the titles at the bottom of the cards, the keywords at the top, the images in between, I think they're absolutely brilliant. I think the images are great. As you can see, I'm having another look-see. I really don't spend enough time with these decks yet, and I do want to do that. So hopefully over October, I'm going to spend some real time getting to know these decks properly over the month. So really sort of dive into them, do some readings. So if you want a reading with any of these decks, please let me know. If you want a private reading, email video chat, video type of reading, please let me know, and I will do a reading for you using these decks indeed. So if they really appeal to you, please let me know. So at this stage, I'm just showing you Christoph's decks and seeing how they sort of work together. I think you could do 2 of his decks together. I think you could if you wanted to, because I've got that same sort of energy. I think when you've got decks by the same sort of artist, same sort of theme, they can work really, really well together. Maybe, you know, whether it's a theme or an artist energy, you know, or maybe you want to do a dark and light energy for some reason. Of course, with Halloween, we sort of want that sort of same sort of energy. Okay, last one we have is the Rain Coast Oracle. Now, this is quite different. This is an 84 card deck. Okay, so it's colourful paintings with wisdom. Okay, so it came in a tin. Again, directly. Now, you'll find with Christoph's decks, they do come with a few art pieces. It does create a few art pieces that come in to it. And it does have a certificate of authenticity. You will find his decks are all numbered and everything like that with how many he's printed in that run. So you know exactly... you know it's exactly his deck. Okay, really important there to have a look. Right, so let's have a look at this artwork. Very different. It does have a sentence or an affirmation at the bottom. For example, this first one, a friend is in need of your guidance. Sort of got a bit of a sentence there. I know you can't really read that on the camera, but you can definitely see the artwork. So if you like, I'll read through. The power of humility is endless strength. Don't fly too close to the sun. Use humor to your advantage. Reduce your material belongings. Remember, every story has 2 sides. So you can sort of see. Don't run from or regret. Don't run from or regret your past. Take more time to be creative. Dance without a partner today. Of all your personalities, be the caring one. There are 2 ways of seeing things. You know, everyone sees things differently, sort of thing. The old ways are sometimes the best. Sometimes, you know, when we get, you know, we try to do something in a new way and it doesn't work because sometimes the old ways don't fix what's not broke, sort of thing. Be the strong link in the chain, you know, be the best you can possibly be. I see that as. Don't waste time arguing with foods. Oh, that's an interesting one to think about and reflect. Dedicate yourself to your passions. Oops. Special time and conversation. Oh, spend time in conversation with family. Seek variety. Seek variety because routine is holding you back. You know, sometimes there are times when you need to do something a bit different outside of what you would normally do. Even though routine can be good, it's not saying get rid of your routine. It's just saying, hey, there's times that you need to be a little bit, have a bit of variety in your life. Art is history, so make history. So create your own art in life, make your own path. Embrace a new partnership. Maybe it's time to embrace a new partner, time to have a new relationship with people around you. Oh, be aware of greedy leaders. It's an interesting one to think and reflect on without going into too much detail here. I think people know what I'm talking about. Ask a trusted friend to watch your back. It's important to be careful of those that you bring into your life. Place your trust on a woman's intuition. It's about trusting. I don't think it's necessarily just a woman's intuition. I think it's just about trusting your intuition in particular. Not all villains wear tall hats. In other words, you can't always recognize a villain by their appearance. An opportunity is coming your way. Nothing in the world is permanent because everything always changes. Celebrate the diversity of other cultures. In other words, get to know what's going on around you. Don't be in your own little world. Time to sort of break your bubble. Take time to make music. Have some fun. Listen to music. Enjoy. Create your own beat. Hell is only a state of mind. Yep. You're facing your own hell. Think before you use harmful words. Be careful of what you say. So important. Good luck is coming your way soon, so it feels like everything's moving in the right direction. Embrace the wind and take flight. So it's time to sort of move. I feel like you're soaring, moving forward in a way. So trust your first instincts. So trust your, don't overanalyze the situation. Sometimes your first gut instinct is your best one. Don't try to overanalyze the situation. Time for you to rise above the crowd. Don't do what the crowd are doing. Sometimes it's good just to say no. Be thankful for the time you are given. Time is precious. Real beauty is not reflected in mirrors. Not always the outside. Sometimes it's what's within that counts. Remember that mistakes are only lessons. Yes, it's how you learn from your mistakes. Look into the eyes of a fool. Oh, it's an interesting one that could be looking into. Don't let jealousy control your actions. You can appreciate what others achieve. Don't need to get jealous of what others are doing. Step away from the crowd for a time. That's an interesting one. Ignite your fire with a new passion. Tell someone that you love them. Be open to loving others. Trust your intuition. There's a lot of that going on. Take more time to appreciate nature. Spend some time outside. Be in the moment. Be in the now. It's quite important. Outrage should only... be careful about carrying or dwelling on your anger, because it's only going to eat you up. Look at the world from another angle. Time to look at things from a different perspective. Yep. If the hand offends, remove it. So if, in other words, if someone offends you, time to move away, time to walk away, time to let go. Cut it away from out of your life. If someone's horrible to you, if someone's nasty, time to get them out of your life. And it's how you treat yourself, how you treat others or treat yourself. Casting a spell will soon bring you love. So it's all about what your intentions are in regards to love. Look to dreams for your answers. Find the answers within your own dreams. I think your dreams can sometimes tell you a story. Stop procrastinating and make a decision. It feels like you've been putting off what you need to do today. Withdraw for a time to gather, maybe you need a little bit of isolation. So it says withdraw for a time, gather your thoughts. Celebrate your victory with a reward. Time to do something for you. Begin a spiritual journey. Time to take action, move forward. Don't let fear rule your actions. Don't be afraid. Okay, don't allow history to repeat. Don't repeat your actions of the past. This one always fascinates me. Be careful with sudden infatuations. That's an interesting one. Be careful about with infatuations. I think sometimes we can be infatuated with someone and not really, you know, create this dream in our head, this what we believe is a reality, but it's not. It's just a fantasy. Okay, seek a wise teacher for guidance. That's interesting. Okay, don't succumb to your fears. When nobody will listen to your pet. Oh, when nobody will listen, talk to your pet. Sometimes your pets are the best listeners. They can allow you to bounce off ideas. Okay, avoid vanity. Seek beauty in others. You know, be humble. You know, you're not always the best, which is cool. We're not always the best in ourselves. Recognize your own demons first. So this is really about facing your demons. Next one here is meditate and seek a spiritual path. Love is more important than labels. So it doesn't matter who you love. As long as, you know, there's that genuine respect. You're on the right path. Some solutions require abstract thinking, so time to think outside the box for sure. Don't let paranoia control your life. Don't get controlled by your fear. That's another one. That's your paranoia. Don't let your thoughts get too thing there. Laugh at the devil that mocks you. Okay, forgiveness is the best revenge. Yep, been there, done that. Cool. Embrace the absurdity of mankind. It's an interesting one to think about. All things must pass. So things change, things move on. The bird song of demons may beguile you. Ooh, be careful of the bird song of demons. Okay, be on guard with your business dealings, with things that are going on around you in regards to business. Now is the time to practice temperance. Interesting there, moderation. Popular opinion is sometimes wrong. Exactly that. Just because the crowd think it doesn't mean it's the right thing. Doesn't mean it's the truth. Be graceful in defeat and you will win. It's an interesting one. You know, you won't always win at everything. Enjoy all of life's flavors. There's always a variety of things to enjoy. Seek consultation from a friend. Maybe your friend's got good advice for you. Remember that 3 is a crowd and maybe there are times when 3's not really a good idea for the situation that you're in. Strike swiftly at the start of the game. Strike swiftly. So get started, take action. Reach for the brightest star first. Reaching your goals. Stop and take a deep breath. I always love that one. Stop and take a deep breath. Hardships are a test of your resolve. Let go of historic grudges. That's quite a good one there. How do you move forward? Living in the past can be a bad practice, and don't turn your back on a friend. What an interesting range of cards there. I'm sorry it's not that great in regards to, I'm just trying to get, there we go. Okay, let's have a look and see what reading we're going to do for the week ahead as we've been doing in the previous series. So let's have a look here. As we have a look, 1 second. Okay, so let's have a look. So let's do a card from each deck just for reflection. a card for reflection. It could be 1 or 2 cards from each deck for reflection. Let's have a look. Oh, wow. That, okay, that gave me a few cards. It gave me a few more than I thought. Let's have a look here first. Let's do this first. Okay, the first 2 cards I've got is 2 of Pentacles and 1 of Pentacles. They popped out. Okay, so we've got the sense of what's our priorities at the moment. You know, what's important to us. Why do we feel like we're being juggling? I feel like maybe we're being pulled in different directions at the time, and so we need to know what our potential is. What are we capable of? What's the potential of what could happen to the situation? Here we've got Knight of Swords with the Lovers in this case, and I feel like there could be some sort of connection or some sort of relationship that's very passionate, and we could be diving into it, which could cause some battles at this time. So there could be some sort of relationship, a relationship that we've got to make choices for, and we're rushing into it. Maybe we haven't quite, there could be some challenges to it. We're rushing into it, some battles, some conflicts. We haven't quite planned or strategized what we're going to do with the situation. Maybe we've thought about it. And we've got some idea about what it could happen, but there could be some consequences to our actions here. Okay, so this is where we get this feeling like we're being pulled in different directions. It could be a relationship that we're being pulled in a different direction with. So we need to work out what our priorities are. What's the potential that could happen within the relationship? And it could be that there could be some challenges to the relationship. There could be some challenges to what's going on here, some conflict. And so it's interesting there to look at. So let's do the Crowley Tarot. Let's see what we get here in regards to a message for the week ahead. What do I need to know about the week ahead in regards to this? And this card here, it's just got 1 card. Here we've got 6 of Swords. It does tell us that it's going to be moving into, we could be leaving behind this chaos and that goes on here this week. That we move into. We could be moving away from that chaos, but we are moving into the unknown. I do feel like we're moving into the unknown mentally with what's going on here. It feels very unsure. Okay, there could be a lot of unknowns in this week ahead. So let's use the Raincoast Visions and see what card comes out for us here. Oh, okay, I get this one here. Oh, okay, I'm going to pull 2 cards from Raincoast Visions, and I get Knight of Cups. So again, we get this romance, we get this relationship that we're moving forward on. But with the 10 of Rods, it does tell us that it's going to be a bit of hard work. It is a sense of, could be weighing us down a little bit with this relationship, this connection here, that could be a little bit of a weighing us down a bit, could be a bit heavy with this relationship, could be very challenging as we've got this idea about what we want. So we're really moving into the unknown. I keep getting that we're moving into the unknown here. It feels like we desire smoother waters, but yet we seem to be moving into the unknown. It really is unsure about, there are going to be consequences of any actions that we take, any choices that we make in this relationship. I do feel like there's going to be some consequences to that. So we need to think quite clearly about where we're going, what we're going to do with this relationship. Let's have a look here. And it's interesting, we get celebrate the diversity of other cultures. So this relationship which is causing us conflict may be because of the differences in our culture within this relationship. So maybe our cultures are quite different in some way, and so it could be causing some sort of conflict, some sort of challenge. So how do we embrace that? How do we acknowledge our partner's our partner's culture? How do we embrace that difference? How do we have that acceptance that things may not be quite the same, especially with their family? Could be, you know, family orientated within the relationship as well. You think about the culture within the family. That's why there could be a shift, a mental shift in this challenge, in the challenges in regards to the culture of the relationship. So quite interesting how that ties in for this week. Maybe you've got a partner who's a very different culture from you, and that's why there is some challenge to it. That's why you might feel like there is some challenge, why you're being split in two, why you feel like there's some conflict, some juggling around with the cultures. Maybe it's very different from your own, and so you have to sort of take a breath for a minute and acknowledge the cultural differences and adjust. You know, I do feel like there needs to be some sort of compromise here, because otherwise you're going to be pulled in different directions. It does feel like there needs to be a compromise, a shift in your perception. Okay, I do feel like it could be a shift in your perception, in your mental ideas. And that's why you feel like you're moving into the unknown, is you've got to shift that perception of what you've been juggling in regards to the culture aspect of it. Okay, so that gives a much more clearer picture of what this reading could be about this week. Maybe you've got a connection with someone, a romantic relationship. It could be family connection. It could be someone that you love and you've got a passion about. It could be a community member. It could be a friend. Someone that could be culturally very different to you, and you have some conflict in regards to that. And so even though we have this Knight of Cups, if it could be some news that arrives, doesn't necessarily mean that it's a romantic relationship in this way. There's different layers of that depending on what your circumstances are. Maybe you see the Knight of Cups as maybe you've received some news, some information in regards to the relationship that's quite a burden on you, and that relationship or that connection, that someone that you love, that you connect with, could actually be a good friend or a family member. Okay, and so, you know, you can have family members that have different cultural aspects. You know, it could be religious aspects, not, you know, cultural aspects could be as part of a religious aspect as well. um, when you're talking about cultural, it could be, you know, an upbringing in regards to maybe you've got part of your family that is Polynesian, so you've got those sort of cultural aspects, and then you've got part of your family maybe on the other side that has maybe European, maybe they are Scottish or Gaelic type of cultural energy. Maybe they have a Celtic energy here that's quite different from your Polynesian culture. So you're being sort of split into in regards to, you know, what cultural path do you follow. You have that conflict there, so you know you've got some choices to make. You might receive some news from one part of your culture that weighs heavily on you. You're like, oh, they must do this or you must do that, and you're like, oh man, but my half of me believes this, and so you have that conflict here. So you might need to sort of have that sort of acceptance as well with that. Interesting here. You might, you know, change your thoughts in regards to your culture in some way. Interesting way of looking at the cards. As you can see, there's many different layers here depending on what's going on in your life, and I'm getting a lot of different energy going on here. I am getting a lot of different energy, a lot of different layers from different cultural groups here, and different energy, different connections. And it can be quite difficult when you have a family that's maybe living in different spaces around the world. They maybe grew up in different religious aspects when you got both sides of the family in different ways, and they grow into different sides of the family, and they grow into so you got this ancestral collection of different diversity within your own family. Like for me, I have there is a very Polynesian side to it. There's a European side to my family. So yeah, I have a very very mixed family here. Very European, English, British type of family. Then I've also got a very Polynesian type of connection as well, and that sort of pulls me in different directions in many different ways. So interesting. Interesting indeed. Okay, so that's it from me. Don't forget to check the links down below. Check the links on my channel. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care, and blessed be.